Welcome to Mobile Legends!
Novaria is a mage that's been mostly forgotten. She's currently one of the least picked heroes, standing at 95th, out of the 131 available picks in Mobile Legends. While I think she does have her obvious weaknesses, she also has the potential to shine in the right situations, especially if you play with the right build. Today, I'm going to share with you the exact build that works for me, as well as sharing the reasoning behind it, so you can also customize the build if you want to. Alright, let's get started. Now let's first talk about the idea of the build. Novaria is a mage that is mostly focused on dealing damage through her second skill, with a base cooldown of 7 seconds. This skill shot has decent magic power scaling, and also has additional scaling based on the distance travelled after casting the skill. So we ideally want to have good move speed and also high magic power. Since it's also quite easy to miss, it's also good to have high cooldown reduction so that we can go for another shot more quickly.
Behold! I will honor this covenant to my last breath. First blood!
Starting off, I've built Arcane Boots as our first item to get mobility. This helps to increase second skill's damage as we can travel more during the charging phase, while we also get to rotate quicker. Fixed magic penetration is a great stat to have on mages that focus on damage. It helps to exponentially increase our damage potential, especially during the early phases when enemy defenses are still low. This synergizes with our choice of the Assassin emblem, that gives us high base penetration as well. I've also selected the Rupture talent to stack even more of that stat. Our second talent is Bargain Hunter, which is a decent choice, but I would prefer Wilderness Blessing most of the time as it helps us rotate faster and can add more damage to second skill for travelling more. I just forgot to change the talent before the match started. Impure Rage is our core talent to help with mana upkeep in the early game and for some extra poke damage.
Dragon's Wrath! Launch attack! Azurian's Legacy! You have slain an enemy! A warning to all who bring on these lands.
My next item is going to be Enchanted Talisman. Novaria actually spends quite a bit of mana if you use her skills often, so this book is going to help with that. We also gain 20% cooldown reduction, letting us spam our skills more often. Even though it has lower than average magic power, you should not discount the fact that casting more skills still increases our overall DPS.
I found the courage allies have slain. The Dragon Covenant is more than a pact. Initiate retreat. The unity of two souls. I will prevail. Azurian sees all. An enemy has been slain.
My next item is situational to this match, and you should take note when crafting your build. Genius 1 is very synergistic with the fixed penetration stats we already have, as it's going to stack even more of it, along with its defense reduction passive. However, it's not the most efficient with Novaria, as she cannot easily trigger stacks to maximize the passive. But because the enemy lineup contains heroes who are unlikely to build any defensive items at all, with the exception of Matilda, who is also likely to only build some light defenses. The other magic penetration item, which is Divine Glaive, is not going to be as effective. That's because Divine Glaive's penetration is determined from the enemy magic defense, so Genius 1 can be more effective than Glaive, even in late game when the enemy does not build magic defense.
Launch attack! I will honor this covenant to my last breath. Initiate retreat! Killing spree! Killing spree!
Brilliant tanking!
Keep an eye on the map.
Solo kill! Enemy battle spell on CD.
If you're new to Novaria, here are a few tips for you. The first thing is that we can actually hold off on shooting her second skill for pretty long after casting it, Specifically, we can hold the orb for up to 5 seconds after absorbing it. And while in our ghostly form, we move faster, can phase through terrain, and can still cast skills and attack. This can be useful to get into a more aggressive position to cast first skill or for general mobility. It also means we can be more patient before shooting out the orb and waiting for the right moment to do it. Many Novarias are too impatient and they just spam second skill without much thought. But if we exercise some patience, we can really improve on our accuracy.
When all seems lost, I shut down.
I underestimated the Kadita there because she hasn't been doing anything useful so far. But that was a really good combo that caught me by surprise. This is a good reminder to not let our guard down and underestimate our opponents, even when we're winning. Our next item is going to be Lightning Truncheon, which was only recently buffed to have a higher base damage. This means that we're able to buy it earlier and use its burst splash damage passive. This also helps us to wave clear quicker and can also trigger Genius 1's passive to land more damage. The 10% cooldown reduction is also really nice.
Azurian sees all! Behold! Initiate retreat! Your team destroyed the turret! Azurian's legacy! Unstoppable! I see you for us. In the ruins of my ancestors, I found courage to defend my kingdom. Azurian's legacy! Your team destroyed a turret! Azurian's legacy! You have slain an enemy! Initiate retreat! You have slain an enemy!
Another tip if you're new to Novaria is that her ult can reveal enemies for a short period. This is useful, especially when your team is working on objectives, by giving vision on enemies in the area. Her ult also widens the enemy's hitbox, and this can help to land skill shots more easily, such as our second skill. If you're playing with a friend, it can be pretty fun to abuse this and combo them with other skill shots, like Franco's hook or Beatrix's sniper.
An enemy has been slain! Ally has been double kill!
Control.
Killing spree!
Superb tanking.
Killing spree! Attack the Lord! Behold! My magic surges in purpose. Request back!
For my next item, I'll be going for Wishing Lantern, which is especially useful to poke down healthy enemies. This is great when going against healers, since they like to keep their team topped up on HP, which means Wishing Lantern's passive can be maximized. It gives another 10% cooldown reduction, further reducing our skill downtime.
Your team destroyed a turret! Ally has been slain. Dragon's Wrath has been slain. Mega kill! Double kill! Ult is not ready. I am the will of Azurian. Ult is not ready. Dragon's Wrath! You will regret this. Your team destroyed the turret.
You can see how often we can keep spamming our skills with this build, and using our high damage to control the match by always making the enemy HP low.
Or did it find me? Launch attack! Azurian seize all! Initiate retreat! The Dragon Covenant is more than a pact. It is the unity of two souls. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Azurian monster kill.
For our last item, we're going to go for the highest magic power item in the game, Holy Crystal. This basically gives a massive boost to our total magic power, greatly improving our damage.
An enemy has been slain.
Herb AoE.
The enemy destroyed the stage. Godlike. A warning to all who bring triple kill.